What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. I got my notes here next to me. But he's actually a pretty solid player. I'll get into where I want to play him exactly in a moment, but I'm going to kind of get into his traits that I've seen on film. He is only 6 foot and about 230. It says on like ESPN, Missouri's website. They all have a general consensus of that. But he looks and plays much bigger than it says. I would not be shocked if at the combine he turns out to be a little bit bigger than they claim. Would not be shocked at that. But he is a fantastic downhill linebacker. Like, if you need him to go north-south, fantastic. He is a hard hitter. He's got a nose for the ball. Loves contact. He's not afraid of blocks at all. He can evade it. He can evade blocks pretty easily, and he can shed blocks pretty easily. And it doesn't matter who you are on the offensive line. He is not scared of you. He he relishes contact. He loves it. He's not like a freak athlete. Like when I was watching him, like, I almost wish that him and Micah Parsons could do like a fusion dance thing, because you would have like the perfect linebacker if you can combine these two. Because if you could have Micah Parsons' athleticism and his ability to go sideline to sideline with Nick Bolton's nose for the ball and ability to go north-south, it'd be unprecedented. He'd be a future Hall of Fame linebacker, 100%. Could potentially be the best linebacker of all time. But as it stands, both of them are good prospects, but I'm not here to talk about Micah Parsons. And don't get it wrong. He's not slow. He's just not as rangy as some of the more athletic linebackers in the league. But as far as acceleration and burst, he's pretty good about that. He can explode. Again, north-south. I don't really want him going east-west a whole lot. In a pinch, he can do that, but I don't want him doing it too much. But he's just an angry-ass player. He can give you some value blitzing. He sniffs out the running backs really well. He can give you value pressuring the quarterback. He's also a very good high IQ player, too. He doesn't really fall for play actions. He does not fall for read options at all. My God, he eats read option alive. Like, he does not fall for that shit. He stays very patient. Like, I've never it's very rare to see someone as good at being north-south, but also being patient at the same time. He fills his gap properly. He doesn't try to play hero ball. He just sticks to his assignment and goes and blows you the fuck up. That's what this guy does. He can actually cover a little bit too. I don't want to see him do that too much, but he can do it in a pinch. I've seen him go out and guard some linebackers, guard some tight ends, some slower running backs. I don't want him doing that too much, but in a pinch, if you have to make him do it, he can. Let's see. So, yeah, I've pretty much talked about most of his traits. Just angry as hell. Just great going north-south. I don't want him going east-west too much. Don't want him covering too much. Personally, where I would want him, it kind of depends on what team drafts him. He can play, like, I'll start off if like a 4-3 drafts him, right? He can play Mike. He wouldn't be terrible at that, but at inside linebacker, you kind of, especially in a 4-3, you really want him to be able to go sideline to sideline, and that's not what he's best at. He can do it. He can do that. But it's not where you're going to get the best out of him. You want him just moving forward and busting shit the fuck up. If he's in a 4-3, put him at Sam. Because he's going to eat blocks alive. Let him read his keys. Let him blow up blocks. And just destroy the running back all day. That's what I want him to do in a 4-3. Now, if he's in a 3-4, and this is where I think he would actually be the most beneficial. Put him at 3-4 inside linebacker. If you watch the Steelers, use him like Vince Williams. The Steelers have Vince Williams as their more so blitzing inside linebacker. They kind of have him just go north-south, just like I'm talking about with this guy. And then they drafted Devin Bush a couple years ago, or actually last year, to go east-west. And without him, they got that, I'm blanking on his name, but the white dude that's playing for them right now because Devin Bush is hurt. But he's their east-west guy, their coverage guy, and sometimes blitzes too. But Vince Williams is your north-south blitzy inside linebacker. I think that would be a fantastic role for Nick Bolton. I think that would be where he would be the best. If you're talking about getting the best possible value out of a player, and that's the name of the game. Like, can he play Mike linebacker? Can he play Will linebacker? Yes, he can, but he can play fucking corner technically. But doesn't mean you should do that. He can be your punter, but he shouldn't. We're talking about where he would be best. If you're in a 4-3, like I said, plug him in at Sam, let him just tear shit up, and move on with your life. And like I said, he's going to bust up read options all day. But if you're in a 3-4, just put him at Mike, and just let him do Vince Williams types things. And I think he could be a very good player. I don't know where I would draft him. Give me a little bit more time to see some of the other prospects and stuff like that. Personally, I wouldn't really want to draft him too early, just because he's not like... because you do have to use him in the right way to make him amazing. If that makes sense. Like, when Luke Kuechly was coming out, it didn't matter what team drafted Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly was going to shine regardless, because he was great at everything. So for being a top value draft pick, I wouldn't necessarily put him there. And unfortunately, because of his athleticism, he's probably not going to shine as much at the combine. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he does pretty well in the bench press. But yeah, I think late first round or second or early second would be really good for this guy. I think you'd be getting a really good player. And if your team does draft him, if you use him right, he's a great player for you. I wouldn't be too upset. So, yeah, just know what you're getting into with him. Like, that's the thing with some of these with these players. Like, as long as you're not being dishonest with yourself and trying to make them do things they shouldn't do, you'll be fine. Just don't make him go east-west all the time, because he's not good at that. But if you just want him to go north-south, he'll bust shit up for you. So, yeah, just be honest with yourself if you're going to draft him, and, yeah, you'll be good to go. But, anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.